Does anyone remember Hulk Hogan's shoes? Somewhere between 1992 and 1995, I would say, I remember a commercial of Hulk Hogan advertising a certain pair of shoes. Inside the sole, there was a drawer-like compartment in which one was supposed to keep small pieces of meat, such as beef jerky or ham. This meat would be kept warm while they walked. The year is 2007, and just to anchor you at a certain point in time, the TV show Big Bang Theory has just premiered on CBS, and Valve Software has just released the Orange Box on Microsoft Windows and the Xbox 360. But at the same time this is happening, on the Something Awful forums, a poster by the name of Logan has made a thread. They're describing a childhood memory of a pair of Hulk Hogan-endorsed meat shoes that had a sliding drawer built into them where you could store beef jerky and keep it warm. I've asked roughly 20 people if they remember this product. None of them do. Someone suggested that due to the outrageousness of the product, it's possible that I'm remembering a spoof commercial from Saturday Night Live. That is most definitely a possibility. But I remember seeing this commercial on more than one occasion. Certainly my 7-year-old self couldn't have been having reoccurring dreams of Hulk Hogan shoes. Help me, internet. Here's a picture of what I vaguely remember them to look like. Naturally, other goons, who are what members of Something Awful are called, were a bit confused. Sounds like you fell asleep during Nitro and had a fucked up dream. I'd think keeping beef jerky near your crotch would be a lot more effective in warming it. Also, who the fuck eats warm beef jerky? He did have rocket boots in Suburban Commando, which could be used to cook meat, though they lack the necessary compartment. I can't stop fucking laughing at the concept of these things. Oh man, I wish they were real. There's no way in hell they are though. When I search shoes meat, this is all I got. WrestleHut 2000 goons know full well that Hulk Hogan would promote anything if the money is right. I believe that someone, somewhere, has a pair of Hulk Hogan meat storage shoes sitting in their drawer, slowly gathering dust because they have long butt grown out of them. For example, you may mistake this image of Hulk Hogan doing some work for special needs children, but this is actually a Pokemon convention in 2006. Because of this, and other shameless promotions, I am convinced they exist. I'm not the biggest fan of the Hulkster, but I do have to hand it to him for one thing. The man knew how to move products with his name and face on it. And when your name is one of the biggest in professional wrestling, you end up no stranger to what I would call questionable product endorsements. He sold Thunder Mixers, Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling Vitamins, even a short-lived attempt at launching Hogan's Beach Shop locations across Florida. We can't forget Pastamania, his own restaurant chain that went under in less than a year. There's an apocryphal story that at one point his agent gave him 3 options for products to endorse. One was a grill, the other was a meatball maker, and the other one was a blender. Hogan chose the Hulkamania meatball maker, and the grill went to his agent's other client, George Foreman. While he did eventually get one of his own grills, and the Thunder Mixer eventually came to be, it's not completely out of the question that he'd willingly endorse a pair of shoes designed to keep your jerky warm. The Hulkster does have a grill. Maybe that's where the meat comes in, and at some point or another there must have been endorsed sneakers. 'Tis your brain that's cross-wired, OP. I bet the guys at Google are really confused right now, wondering why people are searching for Hulk Hogan meat shoes. And it does look like Logan is having a bad brain day. Some goons are encouraging. Maybe, just maybe, they're real. That's okay, man, keep searching. I couldn't convince anyone that the Noozles existed for like 10 years before I found it on an old cartoons webpage. I didn't remember the title, and the premise sounds so fucked up nobody would believe I wasn't imagining it. For reference, the Noozles is about refugee magical koalas from an evil outback dimension called Koala Walla Land with a police state and a wallaby Gestapo. On Earth, in exile, they stay with this kid, spending most of their time as stuffed animals, becoming their real animate selves again when they're noozled or nose-nuzzled. And some goons are less encouraging. I actually remember these. I didn't realize there was a Hulk Hogan tie-in though. My friend's little brother had a pair, and was always bugging his mum for little bits of beef jerky to warm up in his shoe. I have no idea how it tasted, even though he offered plenty of times. Except that didn't happen at all, and you're completely insane and disgusting. By the time this short thread wraps up, it's only a couple of pages long. We know there's a patent for shoes with drawers, and there were already sandals with built-in bottle openers. And that meant that maybe, Not today, and maybe not tomorrow, just maybe we could make this real. And time passes. 4 years to be precise. And a new thread is made by the user TestTubeBaby. Back then, they were going by the name Zenentroop. Does anyone remember the thread remembering the Hulk Hogan shoes? You remember the thread. It involved a wondrous new product to help you transport meat covertly. Unfortunately, it was just a dream. Until now. And team, let's be real here. While it does look like you could fit some serious jerky in there, no self-respecting Hulkamaniac is going to be carrying his jerky in a pair of flip-flops, brother. What you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you and you don't have enough jerky to eat along with your prayers and vitamins? Goons are unimpressed, is how I would describe it. Hidden meat was just a side benefit. It was really all about keeping your meat warm. That's really what made Hulk Hogan meat shoes what they are. Those ain't Hulk Hogan beef jerky shoes. Those are MacGyver multi-tool flip-flops. Big difference. Reef has been making sandals for years with bottle openers, weed compartments, and flasks built in. This is nothing exciting. If I don't have real meat shoes by this time next week, I will very literally myself. No tox clause on that though, please. In your head, what did you imagine the Hulk Hogan meat shoes to look like? Simple and refined? Bright and bold? Maybe something like this? In our original thread, someone posts a fake patent design for the meat shoes. This is an image that's gone far and wide, tricking wrestling content mills into thinking that they are a real piece of lost merch. Enter friend of the channel Dino Zombies Go Rah. You might remember them from my GameCube video, and they're here to save the day and prevent that one goon from doing something drastic. You know what? I'm sick and tired of discovering awesome things like Hulk Hogan meat shoes on the internet, only to discover that they don't actually exist. Well, I'm not going to put up with it. I shall not abide a world without Hulk Hogan meat shoes. To the Goon Cave! They take Mr. Stabby into their hands, pierce the side of the shoe and attack the new hole with a hacksaw, pulling out a routing tool to carve some wood into the perfect meat-holding shape, and then adding the Hulkster's signature red color to the finished product. As soon as I add the yellow highlights and the paint is dry, I'm walking these bad boys over to the supermarket, and then it's jerky time, brother! The red paint is dry. Now for the yellow. And he's off to the supermarket. Just over an hour passes before he checks in. My supermarket just happened to have a sale on jerky today. The gods smiled down on my endeavor. I had a choice of barbecue, original, or teriyaki. I decided to play it safe and went with original. No point in going crazy at this point and risking everything. Shopkeep, your finest jerky, post haste. I found a seat in the food court, then locked and loaded. I just walked all the way home with jerky hidden in a secret compartment in my shoe. I had some of the jerky at the food court, and then when I got home, I ate some shoe jerky, and I swear to God the jerky out of my shoe was warmer and tasted better. While Dino Zombies is Australian, this might be the most American moment of all time. God exists and he's a goon. So let's answer some questions. Please tell me that someone in the food court watched you load up the shoe. Nope, no one noticed at all that I could tell. Did the paint from the shoes rub off onto your fingers in some of those photos? Yeah, they weren't quite as dry as I thought they were. So what happened with this? No answer, suspiciously. The thought that echoes the loudest and longest, a decade and a half into the future is, that is entirely too much effort for an internet forum, Dino Zombies. But goddamn, son. Goddamn. And I thought that was true too, but according to the Dino, they only took about half an hour to make, plus painting, and I was going to throw that pair of shoes out anyway. Total cost, half an hour of work and $3 worth of jerky. All the way back in our original thread in 2007, Logan ends the thread with a sad realization, that he was likely misremembering things. Okay, so I have come to realize that these shoes probably did not really exist, and this whole thing was more than likely the product of some fever dream I had when I was 6 or so. Some goons had actually figured it out, and had correctly identified where Logan had remembered this from. But they were actually ignored. It turns out Logan was misremembering American prop comedian Bruce Baum showing off his new athletic shoe, the Broiler, which is actually from a series of shoes that he'd made. In fact, this sketch itself was a piece of lost media until Bruce uploaded an archive version of the sketch to his Instagram account in 2022. And as I was writing this episode, I ended up thinking, it sure would be cool if Bruce could see these. I think he'd get a kick out of it. So I found his website and emailed him. And he responded.
As you can see right here.
You've still got it. That was going to be one of my questions. Do you still have it?
Yeah,
that's excellent.
There's the
pocket.
Yeah, so it's preceded this one by about 15 or more years. I used to have a weekly spot on those shows where I either did a live piece on stage or a video piece.
Did you have a prop master or did you make them yourself?
Yeah, when I was at Fox and ABC, a guy named Bobby Friel, I would come up with the ideas and then would figure out how to build it. This was one of the easier ones. I had built jacuzzi pants that bubbled up, see-through pants, so you could relax in your pants. Yeah, I had a lot of huge props. This was one of the smaller ones. But I had been doing this in my act, actually, before I filmed it. I had Bobby build this for me, tried it in my act a few times, and then figured it was good for a
good
piece.
for TV. Good for a TV skit. Yeah, we actually had someone make a mock-up going, are these them? So they're like putting some extra branding on them. Not quite the same, but a bit more advanced. They had the carbon fiber in there. This is a guy called Dino Zombies Go Rah, and he went, I'm sick of not knowing if they're real. And so he's going to go and actually, he can't abide a world without them existing. So he goes and finds a pair of shoes, starts cutting it on. He documents this whole journey, and actually makes a little pocket, starts painting them. Gets the Hulk yellow, and I thought it would be very funny to show you that someone's decided I want them for real. No one's made them.
I should have gone commercial with them.
Should have gone. I think there's a market these days. Even now, people still call them Hulk Hogan meat shoes. I'm trying to go. These are actually Bruce's. We know where they come from. People are just misremembering. But even now, there's like a professional wrestling fan game where you can buy a set of accessories for your wrestler called Hulk Hogan's meat shoes. And and I'm like, no, we gotta go. No, these are Bruce's. Here's Bruce's skit. Like, everyone, you can stop crediting this one to Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
we know who this is. And one thing I'd love to do is show that skit in the video, if that's all right with you.
You betcha. Well, they can check me out. The easiest way to get a hold of anywhere that I'm at, if you go to brucebaum.com, there's 3 buttons there. You can go to YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, and it takes you right to me. So you don't have to go onto YouTube and type, remember what I'm at there. You don't need to go to Instagram and try to find me there. brucebaum.com, hit the button, and it'll take you right there. Unfortunately, Logan doesn't actually show up in the second thread, and I hope they saw their misrememberings brought to life. This is one of those stories that fill my heart with joy because it's someone just doing something for the sake of doing it. Not algorithms, not clout, just something that's just uniquely funny, just to be funny. And you don't get a lot of that these days. Thank you for watching. My Patreon is in the description if you'd like to get these videos early. All of Bruce's links are down the bottom too. I'd encourage you to check him out as well. And don't forget, the internet makes you stupid.
Hi, I'm Bruce Baum, and every smart distance runner knows the importance of replenishing the body's nutrients. That's why when I train, I wear the broiler. All you do is take your favorite piece of pork, beef, or a nice piece of fish, put it in the patented tray, slide it on in. The broiler uses the heat of your feet to cook the meat. The broiler. If the shoe cooks, wear it.
The Broiler by Yike. It's hot.